Well, welcome back into the vegetable garden here in the Mid-Norfolk Farm Garden. And this afternoon, because we've got a nice opportunity and a break in the weather, we're going to try and tidy up these raspberries and get them ready for winter. They've been growing here now for probably close to 10 years. And we've got two different rows of raspberries here. On the left is this row of traditional summer fruiting raspberries, which have now been cut back the old canes that fruited last year, and we've just got in place now the canes that have grown during this season that are being supported in the loose wires up the top. And on the right we've got a row of autumn flowering raspberries, which you can hardly see. If I come in close, you'll just see these stalks where they've been cut right down to the ground, because these raspberries are very different. They fruit on the growth that's put up during the early season and fruit in August and September. And these are actually my preferred variety for growing here, because we have to either net or lose all of the early summer fruiting raspberries. The birds, squirrels, pigeons, pheasants, you name it, we get it in off the fields out the back here and they just disappear. So these are hardly worth growing, and I'm gradually replacing these with the autumn flowering raspberries. See on the soil here we've just got the remnants of the mulch that we put down last season when we tidied this up. It's kept the weeds down quite nicely, but I've still got some nettle and some bindweed creeping in here. You can see it, remnants of it around the base of these old raspberry canes. And these old ones we're going to cut out here on this row and just leave the fresh growth that's come up this year. I don't tend to cut the raspberry canes back to the top of these supports. I tend to leave them loose so that they overgrow the tops, and that prevents disease getting in and also allows the canes to overwinter much better. If you cut them back too hard or leave scars on the top, you tend to get disease and dieback on these. So we tend not to cut them back until we see them starting to shoot the following spring, and at that time tie them in and give them a little bit of support. But it does no harm at all, just the loose canes without any leaf over winter, just to blow around in the winds that you get over the next 2 to 3 months. Now, if you've grown raspberries for any period of time, you'll find that they spread by underground runners, and you'll have fresh runners coming up probably 4 or 5 feet away from the main rows. Now these are perfect young plants for you to dig up, sever the underground roots. They can be cut back to around 1 foot in height. Look for one of these good healthy buds coming out the side like this. Cut it back to there, and they will form young plants that can be put into a completely fresh row or given away to friends for the raspberries to be expanded in stock. The supports we have for these raspberry canes, approximately 6-foot posts. I think they're 4-foot round posts that we've driven in, and then we've got quite loose wires running between the posts that we can just thread the raspberry canes in between, so they go one way and then the other, just to hold them in place. And that works very well without having to use any ties at all.